Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. Season 40, War number 4. Today we're taking on the champs GT40 in a number 1 versus number 2 matchup. GT40 coming off of that crazy 0-0 tie that they won on time in War number 3, so we got our work cut out for us. Team today, Galan, Nimrod, and making his debut on the War team is Absorbing Man. Very excited, a little bit nervous for the Absorbing Man fights just because I'm still pretty green with him. First up, we have this Nimrod on Electric Defense, Spaced Armor, and a whole bunch of other nodes. And really what you need to know about this is that Galan is absolutely going to smoke this fight. So we ramp up very quickly since Nimrod is going to be gaining armor. And then from the Spaced Armor node, every time we hit into him and he attempts to special lock us, we're going to be gaining extra mass. You can see we're ramped up right away. First special one, we're already close to 1,000 planetary mass. So we're just going to build up to the next special one, and then heavy, trigger the harvest, and special one to end it. So I did check the health pools. I usually check the health pools of the opponents before I go in, just to make sure that a single harvest is going to kill them. And there we go, full yellow bar finish despite taking that hit. No problem there. Next up, Node 20 Super Skrull, also with Spaced Armor. I think Super Skrull gains armors even at a faster rate than Nimrod, so this ends up going pretty quickly as well. Don't care at all about Masochism in this fight. Even if he regens back up to full, a single harvest is going to be enough to KO him. So, you know, in terms of Masochism, the other thing you need to be aware of is that the parries are going to be shrugged off, and you do need to reparry, or remember to reparry. And then, as always, when you're fighting any Super Skrull, keep one eye on that falter timer that he's got up on him, and when it triggers, either hit into his block, like I just did there, or, you know, hit into him mid-special one is also a way that I like to trigger that. We're already ramped up here, going to heavy to trigger the harvest, special one, and another full health finish, just shy of a yellow bar, but I'll take that 100% regardless. Alright, first Carl fight of the war, TERRAX on node 24, going to use the magma pre-fight and also an invulnerability boost. Goal here is to keep him in the rock field as much as possible by taking blocked hits to build up the flourish buffs on him since he's a tactic defender. He's not very cooperative with the blocked hits. You see he threw a heavy there right away, and I think the second time around he throws one hit into my block before doing the heavy here. So I'm kind of switching tactics, going with the light backdrafts, getting those vulnerability passes up on him. Gonna hit him with a brutal special 2 here that does an absolute crap ton of damage. The form is pretty much paused the entire fight between the armor breaks that he's putting on us from the field, which has now expired. So I do a medium, light, medium combo there to refine my form, make sure I keep myself there. I go for a backdraft. I did not notice that he hit a bar of power. He nails me with the special 1. The boost saves me, and the incinerates finish him off. So all in all, could have played that a little bit better, but we got through it. Next up, we have a Silver Surfer up on node 32. We're going to use the Black Uru pre-fight because this has Chitinous Thorns, and we want that bleed immunity. Between the bleeds and the armor breaks and Silver Surfer's expiring buffs, we're not going to have too much trouble here keeping our form paused. Sticking to the special 1s, of course, to refine it. I had a bit of trouble baiting out this special 1 from him here, and I didn't want to let the form expire, so I do push him here to the special 2. I give him a few seconds to decide what he wants to do here, and then I do a medium, light, medium to refine the form. He finally throws the special 2 here, and then we're safe to go back in. Notice I'm not really worrying about you know, doing the fancy like heavy charge stuff with Absorbing Man in these fights, and these are all ideal matchups for him. And in ideal matchups, you really don't have to get too fancy with him. Because you're gonna be keeping your form paused and or refined for pretty much the whole fight. So I was a little nervous about this fight coming in. You know, what if my form dropped off and I got bled? But it turned out to be a complete non-issue. Speaking of non-issues, we have a Weapon X here, unduped, on node 42. This is an absolute nothing burger fight with Nimrod. I popped on the tech boost just so I can make this go as quickly as possible. We're just going to parry, build up those protocol charges. We're already at 10. Build up to that special 2, and then the single special 2 ends up destroying him. So I originally only had 2 attackers assigned to me for this war, and I specifically asked if it was okay to bring Nimrod for that fight. So, all right, up on Boss Island, we have a infamous Iron Man mini on node 50 with Safeguard. So I initially thought that 2 harvests were going to be required for this fight because his health pool was like a, I don't know, 250,000 or something like that. But you can see we're doing enough damage just on basic hits, trying to ramp ourselves up that it really doesn't matter. I do a really bad job of evading his special 1 in this fight, and I did pop the invulnerability boost, which in hindsight I think was probably a waste, because, you know, Infamous Iron Man special 1 is his utility special. It really doesn't do that much damage at all. So as you can see, we're still taking off, you know, a percentage here, a percentage there, just building up our planetary mass throughout this fight. And we end up chipping away so much at him building up that a single harvest ends up taking him down. So the other thing to notice here is that Galan is a tactic attacker, and we are placing those neutralizes on him with our basic hits, and every time we knock him down with our special 1, we are removing his armor up buff. So whenever he gets that armor up buff back, we are either gaining extra planetary mass from that, or it's immediately neutralized and it goes on cooldown again. So all in all, that really helps us to ramp up a little bit faster here. So we are about at 1,000 planetary mass, get the reparry, get the heavy, fire off the special 1, and he's dead. Pretty happy with that one. Last fight of the war for me is an Annihilus on node 53, so we have to play completely stun immune here, of course, and our only source of power is going to be from Mystic Dispersion. So the blocking in this fight is actually really good, because we kind of want those stifled debuffs up on us. And then when we dash back, we're going to reduce the duration of his unstoppable buffs by 90%. They're actually only going to last about 1/10 of a second. So you'll see the text pop up there, but the buff doesn't last long at all. He's very aggressive, as Annihilus typically is, so I'm trying to look for openings where I can hit into his block and remove those flourish buffs. But again, if we take a block special 1, or if we take a block special 2, it really doesn't hurt us at all, because we're armor break immune, so any blocked hits that we take from Annihilus are just going to keep our form paused. I am sticking in Black Uru form here because of the massive amount of physical resistance that Absorbing Man gets there. I panic parried there, and he reflected the parry. So, you know, we took almost a full combo there, and I think part of a special 1 we lost less than 20% health. So all of Annihilus's damage is physical, and with that extra resistance that we get in Black Uru form, he's just like, Absorbing Man is just so safe for ideal matchups like this. And I know Vegas said the other day in one of his war videos that he feels like Absorbing Man is the best default counter to Annihilus. Usually I prefer using somebody like Sim Supreme who can nullify that buff at the start of the fight, but Carl is such a great option for an Annihilus fight. So of course we did not come away with the victory here. Not really that surprising. It really wasn't that close here. I think GT40 ended up getting another donut on their end of things, so shout out to them. Nothing but respect to those guys. They are the champs. They earn it war in and war out. Another solid war for me personally, though. 7 kills, tying my best this season, 0 deaths. Our record falls to 3-1 on the season. Folks, if you enjoy this, please let me know by hitting that like button. Leave me a comment. It's Absorbin time. Love hearing that. And subscribe for more war videos later. As always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.